Hello and welcome to The Connection. I'm Emma Winram, your host for this edition of The Connection podcast on Wednesday, May 6th. With me today is special guest Phil and his son, Ryan Hudson. Ryan is a high school volleyball coach at Dakota Collegiate, and Phil is now the head coach of the women's volleyball team at the University of Winnipeg. In the last weeks, they've been working from home with their seasons on hold. Hi, Ryan and Phil. Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Glad to be here.
Is first managing through these challenging times. Oh no.
Well, I've been on paternity leave for 5 weeks, so I've actually been home with Lucy here, and a lot of staying at home, a lot of hanging out together, and not too much volleyball in the last little bit.
Yeah, we've been hunkering down at home too, me and my wife, and doing all my University of Winnipeg stuff from home via conference calls on Zoom and various things, and we're just waiting for more restrictions to be moved and just trying to stay safe.
For Phil, how did your career lead you to head coach at University of Winnipeg?
Well, I retired from teaching at Dakota a couple of years ago, and have been helping out the men's program at U of W with Larry McKay. And I was asked to do an interim position last year and had some success, and then applied for the job full-time this year, and was very lucky to be given the opportunity to head up the program for years going forward.
For Ryan, what age did you realize that you wanted to follow in your father's footsteps and become a high school volleyball coach?
Well, going through Dakota was a big impact on me, and after playing university ball, I decided to get into teaching, and really there was no other place where I wanted to teach and coach than my alma mater.
Mm-hmm. For Phil, were you surprised that your son followed in your footsteps, or was it always known that that's what he wanted to do?
Well, he always had a keen understanding of the game, and as a player, he was a setter, so he knew a lot about the game and the tactics involved. And then he started coaching some provincial team and really enjoyed it. And then he got a job at Dakota, and then continued to coach there, and has had a lot of success in his short time at Dakota already.
Mm-hmm. What were your greatest achievements as former volleyball players, like the two of you?
So probably one of my best memories was being on the 2005 Canada Games team, and which my dad also coached, and we had a lot of success. Ended up winning the gold medal that year.
And lots of my successes are not just about wins and losses and championships, but just about the relationships you build with players. And lots of the kids that I had coached have gone on to continue to coach and put back into the volleyball community, which is one of the best things you can ask for, is people giving back their time and energy to the next generation of athletes and players.
Mm-hmm. In your eyes, what makes a good volleyball player or team?
I think as a team, for sure, having great leadership, obviously skilled athletes, and having the talent is important, but a lot of determination and drive and willingness to work together to achieve some great things.
Yeah, and I look at 4 components of an athlete: the physical being, which you obviously need to have the physical ability to play at a high level. The emotional and tactical level and technical level are also super important. Technical is some things you can always teach, and the tactics as well. But it's the emotional and psychological aspects that really determine the difference lots of times between success of teams and success between athletes as well. So there's lots of components that go into making your team successful.
Mm-hmm. And for the both of you, did you always think or know that your careers were going to involve volleyball?
Well, mine was I played.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Ryan. No, go ahead, Ryan.
I always loved the game growing up, and obviously being in the gym with my dad from a very young age. Loved the sport, and would have said when I was very young that doing it as a career and being able to teach young athletes and work with them would have been for sure a dream come true. So I'm really lucky to be able to do it as part of a job.
Well, growing up as a young athlete, I played volleyball at my junior high and high school, and then was lucky enough to get a chance to play at University of Manitoba, and had 5 different coaches while I was in my 5 years at U of M, and they each had a pretty big impact on me as for the love of the sport, and started teaching and started coaching, and then just fell in love with it and have been basically coaching ever since.
Mm-hmm. I see you run a volleyball camp. Can you give us some more information of what it's about and what is the status of those camps given this pandemic?
Yeah, we've been running camps for young athletes for a number of years now, and it's important that we try and put something back into the community as far as training young athletes who want to improve and get better at their chosen sport. Right now, the camps are in limbo right now with the pandemic, and we're just waiting to see if facilities are going to be able to be opened up. The group size is going to determine whether we're going to be able to run them or not, and I guess time will tell in the near future if they're going to be able to move
ahead. For both of you, how is COVID going to impact this season and the future seasons of volleyball? What do you recommend for tips and resources for volleyball athletes regarding training techniques given the current stoppage and social distancing rules?
I think that the physical aspect of it is really important to maintain. A lot less physical activity, probably most overall the last couple months. So if people can stay active and train as much as possible with the limited amount of equipment they have, I think that's huge for jumping back into the sport when it does come back on.
Well, that ends our show for today. I would like to thank our guests, Phil and Ryan Hudson, for being on the show.
Thanks very much.
We hope you enjoyed our show about the Hudsons and their volleyball career. It was great having our guests on the show. I'm Emma Winram, and this is the Connection Podcast, our way of keeping you connected during this pandemic. Make sure you follow us on social media on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at LRSDTV, or the Twitter at LRSD_TV. Thank you for watching The Connection today, and remember, stay safe and stay connected.